like? I mean,
Yeah.
how was
It was good. The family received me. The first thing they wanted me to do was to dress up in my uniform and go to church. Okay, of course I would do that, and you'd get all these accolades because they'd see you look pretty sharp. You look, and all the people are just proud of you, and things are going good for you, and so you get a lot of stroking
Sure.
from doing that. But more important than that, down the street from my house was a dentist office. It was a Dr. Charles Cooper. He was good friends with my parents, okay? And when I would come home, he would say, because he knew I was in dental assisting there, he said, send her up to my office, I'll hire her. So my leave, I spent most of the time working in a dentist office. I mean, so he would pay me, so I'd get a little extra money, and then I'd go back, and I did that for 2 years in a row, and then in the third year when I was out, he hired me permanently.
Okay. All right. So let's just come to when you were a short time in the military. What was that like? What was when you were getting close to knowing that you're
Well, I was a specialist 4 at that time.
okay.
And they were trying to convince me to stay. They would give me sergeant. Well, I put the clip in my head like everybody else. I was a short timer, okay? And 6 months later, you were counting the days, you count down, and then I decided that I would come on out because I had greater desires. I knew that the U.S. Army wasn't going to be my whole life, and I knew that all my life my parents had been telling me, you must go to college, you must develop yourself, and I needed to get out and do that. I was fully aware of the GI Bill, fully aware of that, and that's one of the perks of having been in the military. So as soon as I got out in August of '64, I applied to UD in '65, and I was accepted in '66.
Okay.
And I went to the University of Detroit, their dental hygiene program. I became a dental hygienist, graduated in '68, received my bachelor's in '70 and my master's in '72. So all of that good old education was paid for by the United States Army just because I gave them 3 years of my life.
Right.
And so that was one of the good things I did. I never had to pay tuition or anything. Just everything was covered for me.
Great. Okay. So when you got out, was there? Did your family have a party or
No.
reception? It was just
No.
boppers
Yeah.
home.
My family, as a matter of fact, sometimes, by the time I was in the military, I had learned so much. And one of the things you learn in the military is how to clean. You know how to clean. And I was just showing them everything that I knew. And my sisters were saying, I hope she doesn't come back, because what I was doing meant that they would have to do it later on, okay? So they were kind of like looking at me sideways because of that. But yes, they were I was well received back by my family. And when you're from a family of 8, one more person or one less person, no big deal. So coming in and going away was good. Yeah, they were really glad to see me. But no parties or anything like that.
Okay. All right. So now did you fly directly home, or was it train directly home once you were discharged at Fort Leonard?
Right, and then I flew home.
Flew home. Okay.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Was Peggy? Did she her term end?
She stayed, and she was in love with a guy, and so she stayed back, and she finally came home, and then she married the gentleman on my birthday. His name was Leslie Brown. Les Brown.
Okay.
So she finally came home, and then she married him on my birthday. But then a few years later, she divorced him. She moved out to California, and then a few years later, she divorced him because the real love of her life was a guy named Larry Lemon.
Okay.
Now everybody knew Larry was older, and he was a lifer. So military was going to be his life. He was going to be there forever. He was But everyone else also knew that he was married. And so one of the biggest things that I had to think about for my friend is, should I tell her or should I not tell her? So I was getting all of this advice from around saying, if you tell her, she's going to hate you. So if I were you, I wouldn't tell her. But if you don't tell her, then she's going to be living in a world where, an untrue kind of life. So I made my decision. I decided to tell her. Okay. She was very angry at me.